So now that I've given you a little bit of insight on some of the things you can do, oftentimes people miss the don't do's. And in this next section, I'd like to share with you 8 of my key don't do's that we've developed over a decade in the making since launching the Hult Prize. One of the most important things to not do is this idea of don't not do anything. You basically need to go to market. And sitting around behind a computer screen in classrooms discussing your idea, or out in the cafe talking about how great it would be to change the world through business, only goes so far. The very moment you find yourself with an idea, with the ability to get a prototype done and get to market, do it. Don't go alone. Oftentimes founders think they can do everything on their own. And I'll tell you guys out there, if you're one of those founders, you're bound to fail. In fact, I guarantee you will fail. Because you're one person, you can only go so far, you can only think so big, and you can only work so hard. The toughest thing about a startup is depression. It's very difficult and it's very lonely. In those times of turmoil, in those times you get rejected from fundraising, getting your next customer, finding a vendor that'll agree to work on discounted rate, you're gonna feel very upset, very lonely. So it's key that you don't go at this alone. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need another co-founder. What you need is a support system. You need a family. You need a tribe. It could be as simple as your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, your grandma, who's on board with the idea of you giving up everything to be an entrepreneur, to change the world. Do it with somebody and you'll be much better off. One of the next don't do's is panicking. Oftentimes founders, when they're given feedback from a very influential mentor, customer, vendor, they may panic. They may think their idea isn't good, their hard work isn't paying off, and they somehow feel that they need to commit to a new course or a new path. But remember what we talked about before. Once you know where your North Star is and your resource map, you know the path that you need to stay on to be successful. When you define that North Star, when you find yourself in a position of panic, you'll remember it's gonna be okay. The journey of becoming an entrepreneur and getting a great idea off the ground is nearly impossible, and remind yourself to relax. Not selling out and remembering why you built your company is so critical to your success. Selling out is simple. You give up your own ethics, your own values, and what you stand for just to make a sale. Don't do that. Remember, entrepreneurship is tough. It's difficult. It will probably almost kill you, ruin your family relationships, and burn all of your friendships, okay? So the most important thing for you is to be true to yourself and your mission. So don't sell out. Don't think too far ahead. And the journey of entrepreneurship is gonna feel like a million-mile march. But what you have to do is take it one day at a time. If you begin looking at the long picture, you may get so overwhelmed that you forget to take action. And again, a very simple Chinese proverb, you must walk before you run. And that is so true in building your entrepreneurial venture. Don't think too big. This one is cliche because oftentimes we're told by our professors, by our mentors, by the marketplace, think big and change the world. The problem with doing that, if you think too big, you may actually talk yourself out of pursuing your own startup. So while it's important to have a big vision, have small wins defined so that you can always stay on course, stay on track, and as an entrepreneur, celebrate small successes that are achievable while at the same time remembering the big challenge or the big goal that you're setting out to accomplish or achieve. Don't look up. Oftentimes we find ourselves in the trenches, not knowing where our next dollar of revenue is gonna come from, if our product works, if the marketplace appreciates the hard work we're putting in. My advice to you is simple, don't look up. Because you're gonna need at minimum 12 months of hard work, commitment, passion. That's what it takes to change the world. That's what it takes to be a great entrepreneur. And finally, don't ever stop learning. The journey of an entrepreneur is one that never ends. I don't care whether you raised $1 million round or you've not even generated $1 of revenue. You need to have a mindset of learning. Learning is so important as an entrepreneur because we live in a time where the market is changing so fast that whatever product you're offering, whether it's sales or service, tomorrow is going to be different than the one you're selling today. And you often need to adjust, you need to pivot, and you will never be successful if you don't continuously learn.